Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about Clarissa and Hartmut. We'll be talking about the relationship as it is right now and the relationship up until the pre-pub. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and let's get to it. Before meeting Rosemary, Hartmut was described by his uncle as extremely uncaring and infinitely stubborn. So it was really weird when Rosemary described him as open-minded, because to everyone he was a very stubborn person before he met Rosemary. He is part of the Leisgang political faction because his mother Altilli is friends with Elvira, which means he grew up with Cornelius as children. So prior to working under Rosemary, he was a art scholar at the academy and would work with his uncle. Hartmut entered the Royal Academy and he didn't like how his duchy was so low in the rankings, not favored by the country. When he learned of Rosemary's existence, he deduced fairly fast that she wasn't actually the lady Elvira's daughter, and most likely one of Lady Lord Carsted's third or second wife, meaning she was mostly a med noble instead. Hartmut took the fact that his mother was being asked to serve her as a lower status than Hartmut and his family as a great offense. But this all changed when he saw her give a blessing at her noble baptism. Hartmut was really moved by her action and actually became convinced that she was a true saint and someone worthy of being of Ehrenfest. From there, when Hartmut was at the Royal Academy, he would spread rumors that Rosemary was the saint of Ehrenfest. And when Rosemary finally came to the Royal Academy, and everyone got really disappointed in the fact that she was not acting like a saint, she later found out that it was all Hartmut's fault. Hartmut views Rosemary as a saint and treats her like this in her sainthood. He really is obsessed with her and actually wanted to be her retainer once he went to her baptism. Once he became Rosemary's retainer, he learned how to treat her well. He would gather information and then keep it to himself, which sadly got him a reprimanded by Rosemary, because he shouldn't be keeping information to himself. He should always tell his lady the information and help her, and she makes the decision of how to treat it from there. Hartmut is so devoted to Rosemary that he would not like to be separated from her ever. He has even volunteered to become the high priest of the temple once Ferdinand leaves, just to help. He is devoted completely to her and would never put her in any risk. Clarissa is from the Duchy of Dunkelfelger and is an arch noble. She is known as a very hot-blooded person and charges towards her goals single-mindedly, which is befitting of her original duchy. She also is known to be very attentive to detail and dedicated to her work. Like majority of children of her duchy, originally Clarissa tried to become a knight, but failed the selection exam because she was too small and weak. This caused her to become a scholar instead. Since she favors the sword over the pen, she kept training with the Dunkelfelger Knights and became a scholar of the sword. Clarissa became obsessed with Rosemary after she saw Rosemary win a battle of Ditter against Dunkelfelger. Even though Rosemine was tiny and very weak, she still managed to defeat Dunkelfelger with her strategy and her wit, which impressed Clarissa so much that she wanted to become one of her retainers. After the match, Clarissa bemoaned the fact that Rosemine wasn't part of Dunkelfelger, and said that she would have sworn herself to Rosemine if had she been a Dunkelfelger Archduke candidate. She learns from Professor Ralphin that there are other ways which she can become Lady Rosemine's retainers, but he cautioned her against any rash actions and advised to calm down, and also warned her to be careful with her options before making a decision. In the book Royal Academy Stories First Year, we get a story from Hartmut's perspective called Dunkelfelger Woman, where Clarissa is basically trying to get information about any of Rosemine's retainers and trying to find which ones are archnoble and which ones aren't. And she found out about Cornelius and Hartmut. She went to Cornelius first and asked to become and tried her Dunkelfelger maneuver on him, but it failed, and basically he rejected her immediately. She afterwards went and tried for Hartmut, and at the Goddess of Time gazebo, she did her little thing, and I'm going to read the little part right here. Before I could even decide how to approach Clarissa, she contacted me. We were to meet at the gazebo, as this was the perfect place to converse in secret without others noticing. These are normally places for lovers to rendezvous, which does make me hesitant, but I'm probably overthinking it. She presumably doesn't have a partner in the first place, which means there isn't anyone who might misunderstand it. It was with those thoughts in mind that I kept up with Clarissa. She had brown hair that was braided behind her head, and sparkling eyes that were in the same blue as her cape. She seemed just as excited as the other Dunkelfelgerian students who were so eager to learn about Lady Rosemine.
Lord Hartmut, she said, there is something we must discuss.
I understand that you've been trying to find out about Lady Rosemine's retainers. Now, you want to know about Lady Rosemine herself, I presume?
No, she said with a slight smile. I want to know about you.
Excuse me? I was trying to wrap my hand around the situation when I realized she had vanished. All of a sudden, something swept my legs out from under me. A hand grabbed my breast of my shirt. I was met with the blast blue eyes of a predator, and an instant later, the word Messer was chanted right next to my ear. My back hit the ground with some force, but I was yanked up a little before my head could do the same. Clarissa was straddling my torso, and the cold sensation against my neck could only be a blade of a knife. My blood froze in my vein. I didn't have the slightest idea what was happening. My experience with violent situations like this were slim to none, and not once crossed my mind that an apprentice scholar could hold me at knife point. I wouldn't even have expected such behavior from an apprentice knight. What do you I tried to protest, but Clarissa suddenly pressed her lips against mine and started forcing her mana into me. A crackling sensation made me frail on instinct, but she didn't budge at all. As she held me in place with her, all the struggling I could earn me a small cut where the blade was being held at my throat. Clarissa pulled away and slowly licked her lips, no doubt trying to judge my mana.
Seems like you'll do, she said. Good. Now, Lord Hartmut, give me proposal challenges.
What? Proposal challenges? I gazed up at Clarissa, unsure what she was demanding of me. She must have seen my confusion as she began to explain how proposals worked in Dunkelfelger. Apparently, there was a tradition where a girl could marry the man if they had their eyes on by pinning them down with their own strength, demanding challenges, and then completing them. It was an interesting concept, and one that I was now very intimately aware of. I can't believe such a weird proposal method would end up being used on me, of all people. I am absolutely dying to serve Lady Rosemine, Clarissa said, but unfortunately, I am an apprentice scholar of Dunkelfelger. This is a problem that I intend to solve. One needs to be an Ehrenfest noble to serve Lady Rosemine, and for an outsider, that fast method to accomplish this was through marriage. Clarissa knew that Cornelius and I were the only two archnobles serving Lady Rosemine, who were of appropriate age, and of course, Cornelius had refused her advances. She had decided to focus her effort on me. It was much easier to pin down an apprentice scholar than an apprentice knight, apparently. I don't have the time for an official proposal or color mixing, she continued. I expect more people to be targeting Lady Rosemine's retainer soon, though I can't miss this opportunity. Marry me! I understand that these are pressing circumstances, but I don't know how I feel about you stealing a kiss like that, I said, doing my best to remain calm while trying to come up with a plan to escape. Unfortunately, my opinions were limited when Clarissa was pinning me down so firmly. My options. Oh my, do you expect to tell others about this? Clarissa asked. About how a girl 1 year younger than you pinned you down, passionately forced herself on you, and even stole your lips? I expect your honor as a man would disappear in an instant. She giggled, not allowing her grip to loosen even for a moment, and then started to go on and on about how wondrous Lady Rosemine was, all while we were still in this absurd position. I was truly moved, she said. So many Dunkelfelger wish to become apprentice knight that we had our own selection to decide who should receive the privilege. It was my dream to join their ranks, but my small frame meant that I never stood a chance. That is why I was so taken aback when Lady Rosemine, who was at the same time of the exam, managed to win at dinner. And not using strength, but wits! Do you know how moved I was to see her snatch victories from the jaws of defeat, despite her size? And then, as I found out more and more about her, my heart was won even more. The heated look in her eyes as she spoke about Rosemine was enough for me to confirm that this woman before me was exactly the comrade I was searching for. My heart raced just from being in presence of someone who adored Lady Rosemine as much as I do. Not bad at all. I allowed Clarissa to continue her rant for quite some time, although I was distracted by the residue of her mana that lingered in my mouth. I understand how you feel, I said when she eventually reached a break in her speech, but words mean very little to their owner. She seemed unlikely to relent, so I complicated what I might give her. I needed to be something found in what I valued most in a wife. That's it! Complete devotion to Lady Rosemine. I want someone who as capable of extolling her virtues as I am. I have no intention of marrying someone who cannot bring happiness to Lady Rosemine, I said. Prepare something that will please her before next term. Consider this an opportunity to prove both your talent for gathering information and your resolve to become her retainer. Show me what you are capable of. That I intend to do, Clarissa replied with a smile. Her blue eyes gleamed with ambition, and only then did she dismiss her knife. Now, what will she bring me, I wonder? I can't wait to find out. As we can clearly see through this excerpt I just read for you guys, Clarissa is obsessed with Rosemine, and basically Hartmut thinks that her obsession is perfect for him. They would make a perfect couple because of their obsession. And you can't convince me otherwise. They're perfect because of the fact that they're obsessed with Rosemine. This is so cool, and also Clarissa ended up gathering night tales and night stories that ended up being used. And it's really fun, and they're perfect for each other. So another thing I really want to talk about afterwards is how Hartmut basically courted Clarissa before even Rosamine found out. And he even bribed Rosamine with books so that he could go and see Clarissa and everything and talk to her. He actually introduced Clarissa to the rest of the scholars and basically told Clarissa that the rest of the scholars were not as competent and basically were only in her retinue to gather stories and create stories for Rosamine and not to actually serve as scholars. And that he would need her when he leaves the Royal Academy to help them. Because, you know, they're kind of really important and Rosamine really cares about them. After Clarissa's graduation, she decides it's a great idea to just up and leave Dunkelfelger, travel from Dunkelfelger all the way into Workenstock, go into Frembeltag, and then after that from Frembeltag go straight into Ehrenfest. And for some reason, no one thought while she was doing this whole process that they should stop her until she got to Ehrenfest City Gate, where Gunther, our great old Gunther, decided that he would stop her from getting there. And basically, she had to contact Hartmut and Rosamine to go and get her so that she could come into Ehrenfest. So Clarissa thought it was a great idea to go and meet with them, and let's all say that she got a scolding from Hartmut and Rosamine. But thank goodness she was still allowed to come in and hang out with them, and you know, at least she was respectful. So yeah, so Clarissa's shenanigans just kept going. She is very dedicated to become one of Rosamine's retainers, that's for sure. So, and after that, when she finally came back, she wasn't allowed to go into the temple as she wasn't a Ehrenfest noble yet, and had to basically stay with the inside of the castle, and had Hartmut's mother and father as supervision to keep her in line. So Clarissa basically took care of a lot of things for the Archduke Conference, and helped with organizing all of the documents and everything. As we find out, Clarissa and Hartmut really wanted to give their names to Rosamine, and Rosamine is really freaked out because in her brain, when you give your name, you should be giving it to someone you love. And she basically told them, shouldn't you be giving your name to each other? And they said, why would we? We want to serve you, we want to give our names to you. These two are obsessed with Rosamine. Like, you can't convince me that they are not obsessed with her. Their relationship stands on the fact that they have an obsession with Rosamine and that they want to be there for Rosamine and help her through anything, and they want to be the most important people for Rosamine. Rosamine isn't really receptive to this and is very creeped out by Hartmut and Clarissa's dedication to her sainthood. And when they finally go to Arnsbach and save Ferdinand, Ferdinand orders Clarissa and Hartmut to spread the good deed and convince everyone that Rosamine is amazing. And basically from there, that is all that Rosamine does, is all that Clarissa and Hartmut do is praise our amazing goddess that is Rosamine, to the point where when they get to go and leave, everyone believes she is the goddess, a reincarnation of the goddess, and Mestianora, and know that she has a good side and should listen to her. So they're very effective at praising their lady. And yeah, so their whole relationship is bound on that, and they're great and funny. Anyway, I hope you guys really like this coloring. So this is how it turned out in the end. This coloring is beautiful. I love doing it. You'll notice that a lot of my colorings have the color purple and blue inside of it because they're my favorite colors. Like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, I hope you all really enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below at what my next topic should be. Should I keep going with the ships, Or should I go more into how the characters react and how they act together? So anyway, bye!